Tonight, pinched by fuel prices.
Right now, everyone's kind of on their own, and we're just trying to keep our heads above the water every day.
The cost uncertainty for local long haulers and the impact for customers. Plus, carnage on Wellington Road, life-threatening injuries and an impaired driving charge laid after a weekend crash. And the trip of a lifetime.
He's told me that the day of the game is the best day of his life.
A wish granted for a local teenager, an unforgettable experience.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with the latest on local gas prices rising higher. At some stations, diesel was selling for more than $2.35 a litre today, a substantial cost increase for truck and courier businesses. And as Sean Irvin reports, that will have a ripple effect in other sectors.
With the price of regular gas and diesel fuel soaring, pressure is building on logistics firms.
The impact of what's happening in the Middle East right now is absolutely impacting the transportation rates to get goods into the hands of consumers.
Brent Landers has operated Couriers Plus for 20 years. In that time, the London business has weathered the ups and downs of the economy and the pandemic. But the unpredictability of recent fuel spikes is an unnerving new chapter, leaving Landers little option but to pass the cost on despite best efforts. For example, a package that a few weeks cost $20 to ship now costs $23.
We have no choice but to continue to increase that fuel surcharge and pass that on to our customers, who in turn have to pass it on to their customers.
A senior leader at a London trucking firm tells a similar story. Trisec Logistics has raised its U.S. price per mile from 46 cents to 65, but that only applies to customer contracts that don't have fixed rates.
We have a lot of contracts put through for fiscal 26, and those are set in stone, and it's absolutely killing us. No one's happy with the numbers.
Now, the price is not only impacting the bottom line for both businesses and their customers, it's also affecting employment levels.
A few months ago, you were maybe looking to hire? Or?
We were, yeah, we were.
Man, so
that's not the case anymore.
We have had to cut back on some part-time employees or cut back their hours just because we don't have the volumes that we had before Christmas.
Still, both firms contend there is still work, at least for now. However, should fuel prices continue to spike upward, Smith agreed that a call for government aid might be necessary to help logistics firms weather the storm.
There's always that thought, but right now everyone's kind of on their own, and we're just trying to keep our heads above the water every day.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
A special council meeting has been called in Sarnia to address comments made by Councillor Bill Dennis about Indigenous artwork at City Hall. With more on his remarks and the response, here's Brian Bicknell.
It's a gray day outside, but inside Sarnia City Hall, a new mural fills one side of the foyer with color. Welcome greetings in English, French, and Anishinaabe. The work of Indigenous artist Kennedy Osborne. Local resident Linda came to see for herself.
It is beautiful.
Unveiled last week, not everyone is a fan of the original artwork, which cost taxpayers more than $12,000, including commission and installation. Councillor Bill Dennis said on social media it's virtue signaling by woke politicians out of touch. It's those comments that set off back and forth exchanges between Dennis and a number of groups condemning his remarks. Reached on vacation in Florida, Dennis says he's not backing down.
Worst council Sarnia has had in quite some time. It's the farthest left council Sarnia has ever had, and I'm the most conservative councillor Sarnia has ever had. So it makes for a bad combination, and I'm simply not going to be subject to. It's been 8 against 1 for the last 4 years almost.
Amshinang Chief Janelle Namaybin declined our interview request, citing prior commitments, but she did speak out on social media directly to Councillor Dennis, saying the race division you continuously perpetuate resolves nothing. A special Sarnia Council meeting Tuesday will address Dennis's comments. Mayor Mike Bradley says it comes as the city works to build relationships with First Nations neighbors.
The meeting was called by council. They petitioned for it, 5 members of council, and they wanted to respond to these comments, which they found very distasteful. And that's what the meeting's about. It'll be a difficult meeting, but I think there'll be a strong message from this council. The councillors' comments are unacceptable in any context, whether they're by email or in person.
Bradley says Dennis could face reprimand, an integrity commissioner investigation, or a human rights complaint. As for Linda, she's disappointed it's come to this.
It's unfortunate. We're supposed to invite everybody to come, so there should be no prejudice whatsoever.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
London police say they're investigating apparent vandalism at a local MPP's constituency office. With more on the damage and Peggy Sattler's reaction, here's Jerry Dewan.
London West NDP MPP Peggy Sattler says at first it was hard to comprehend that someone would damage her London constituency office.
It is unsettling for sure, but you know, we're in this business to help people, and we're gonna keep doing that.
Windows were also smashed out in an adjoining unit that was apparently being used for storage by another tenant. The offices are located in a 3-story building that has commercial space on the ground floor and apartments on the upper levels. It appears the vandalism happened around 1:30 Sunday morning.
We saw a video that a neighbor had captured on a security camera, and it did appear to be a very targeted attack, of vandalism against my office.
The incident is now in the hands of the London Police Patrol Operations Investigative Section.
Using video surveillance from the area to identify suspects in hopes that we can, lay a charge and bring this to a conclusion.
Sattler says at this point there's nothing to indicate anything was taken or that anyone tried to enter the office. In the fall of 2024, charges were laid after protesters opposing the Israeli siege on Gaza sprayed ketchup intended to represent blood on the constituency office of London North Centre MP Peter Fragiskatos. Sattler says it's important to send a message that politically motivated crimes of any kind can't be tolerated.
I understand people are angry right now. People are frustrated. There's a lot of anxiety and insecurity, and people are worried about their future. But this is not an acceptable way to make a political statement.
Constituency office staff were in on Sunday to clean up broken glass, and the landlord replaced broken glass in the door so that the office could open first thing Monday morning. Sattler says there may be temporary office closures while glass is being replaced. The office has had a policy of keeping the door locked and buzzing visitors in for a few years, but staff are now being extra cautious about screening people before they enter. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
Good evening. It was a cloudy start to the day. We had some patchy freezing drizzle and some light flurries as we moved through the afternoon. It's cold. Temperatures well below normal for this time of year. We made it to just the freezing mark this afternoon. Normal daytime high 5 to 6 degrees. So not feeling very spring-like. Temperatures on the hour -3 in London and -3 to -4 as we head through here on Perth, Grey Bruce. Wind chills anywhere from -8 to -10. It's going to be cold out there tonight. Skies are starting to clear and high pressure is building in. We're talking wind chills from about -11 to -14 overnight. The winds, though, start to ease off just a bit, so it's been quite breezy out there. Coming up, I'll take you through the forecast. A day-to-day warming trend on the way, and it's not flurries in the forecast, but rain. I'll tell you when coming up.
Thanks very much, Julie. New York's LaGuardia Airport was shut down today after an Air Canada Express jet crashed into a fire truck. 2 pilots were killed and more than 40 other people were hospitalized. With the latest on the investigation looking into how this happened, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
Parts of the mangled cockpit hang from the Air Canada Express wreckage as investigators piece together the cause of the collision.
Man, that wasn't good to watch.
Chilling audio from the air control tower reveals some of the communications leading up to the crash and its horrifying aftermath.
Man, that wasn't good to watch. Yeah, I know I was here. I tried to reach out to my stuff, and we were dealing with an emergency earlier. I messed up. No, man, you did the best you could.
At around 11:40 p.m. Sunday, a Port Authority fire truck is responding to another emergency. Another plane reporting odor in the cabin.
Truck 1 and Company, LaGuardia Tower, requesting to cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, cross 4 at Delta.
Truck 1 and Company, crossing 4 at Delta.
Stop, Truck 1. Stop. Stop, Truck 1. Stop.
The CRJ 900, operated by Jazz Aviation, landing at LaGuardia, smashes nose first into the truck of the airport's runway 4.
Sadly, the 2 pilots are confirmed deceased, and notifications are being made by Air Canada's care team at this time.
One of those pilots was Antoine Forêt from Coteau-du-Lac, Quebec. A flight attendant was found nearly 100 meters from the plane, still strapped in her jump seat that was ripped from the airplane. CTV News has confirmed that her name is Solange Tremblay and that she was undergoing surgery.
We're fully supporting the relevant investigative authorities in their investigation to learn everything we can about these events.
Dozens of passengers were treated and released, but others are in serious condition in hospital.
Everybody's screaming. Pretty quickly, we didn't have any directions because the pilot's cabin had been kind of destroyed. So
he smashed his face into the seat in front of him, broke his glasses.
Sarah Dorner's husband, a professor at Montreal's Polytechnic Institute, was on board.
He smelled gas, so he was encouraging people to just slide down, go down the wing. He was there to catch them.
Canada's National Transportation Safety Board has also dispatched a team of investigators to assist in the probe. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Ground operations at LaGuardia were brought to a complete stop because of the crash, which means delays in New York and any other airport with flights scheduled for the Big Apple. With more on those impacts, here's John Vandalism.
At Toronto's Pearson, more than a dozen flights to LaGuardia were canceled this morning, with U.S.-bound passengers expressing both sadness and concern following the crash.
It's obviously tragic. It's terrible. And try not to think about it, really.
It sounds like human error, but it sounds like it's caused from lack of staffing, maybe.
It shouldn't have happened. They'll have to look into the communication between ground crew and the air traffic controllers maybe a little bit.
The shutdown of LaGuardia impacting flights up and down the U.S. Northeast, with the airport on average handling more than 90,000 passengers and 900 flights every day. The closure coming at a tough time for many U.S. travelers, already facing huge delays and lineups at airports across the country.
This is insane. I mean, I've never experienced anything like this.
This the result of a shortage of TSA screeners, many working without pay amid a government partial shutdown. The U.S. president deploying ICE agents today to help ease some of the travel turmoil.
This is probably the worst that we've ever experienced in our 20 years of traveling.
And the crash now adding to concerns about America's air traffic control system being understaffed and its employees overworked. There's been a series of incidents in recent years, including a deadly mid-air collision. And the country's been facing a shortage of around 3,000 air traffic controllers. In audio from the latest crash, a controller can be heard saying, "I messed up."
They're going to look at the workload, how long that controller had been on duty, his past history.
Meanwhile, this afternoon, LaGuardia reopened and flights began resuming. But passengers headed to the States are still being advised to check on their flight status before heading to the airport. John Vandalism, CTV News, Toronto.
London police say they've laid multiple charges against a woman accused of impaired driving and causing a serious crash this weekend on Wellington. According to police, the driver was speeding down the road, hitting 2 other vehicles, severing a telephone pole before smashing into a business's sign early Sunday morning. Fire crews extricated 2 women from the vehicle. Police say the 23-year-old driver then assaulted paramedics, officers, and a nurse once she arrived at hospital. They say the passenger pulled from the vehicle has life-threatening injuries.
There are a number of charges this 23-year-old lady of London faces, including impaired operation, impaired causing bodily harm, as well as dangerous operation and dangerous operation causing bodily harm. As you know, there are a number of additional charges that have been laid, including assault and assaulting a peace officer.
The London Knights playoff campaign begins this Friday against the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. The The Knights finished with the 7th best record in the league this season and 4th best in the Western Conference. They secured home ice advantage in the first round over the weekend. Game 1 at Canada Life Place this Friday night. Game 2 still at home, scheduled for Sunday. Games 3 and 4 will be in the Sioux next week. A St. Thomas teenager living with a terminal illness has had his dying wish fulfilled earlier this month by the Toronto Blue Jays. The 17-year-old is a huge baseball fan, and as Brent Layle reports, the ball club rolled out the red carpet for him and his family.
This one's an autographed ball I got from the training center when I went to go see Trey and David Schneider.
Wesley Johnson can't stop smiling about his experience with the Toronto Blue Jays. With a failing heart, the dying wish of the St. Thomas teenager was to see a spring training game and meet his favorite player, Trey Savage.
There definitely isn't words to explain how incredibly thankful and grateful we are to everybody who either, donated, shared the GoFundMe, made a phone call, made an email, tagged a post. The Jays definitely knew we were coming, so they spoiled us rotten.
What's going on? What's up, man? How you doing? What's your name?
The day started by meeting Savage and Davis Schneider, then a full tour of the spring training complex.
I was definitely shocked that I was able to go down to field level during their warm-up and watch their batting practice up close, so that was definitely cool. I got to meet a few players there too.
This is Wes right here, man. We're the biggest fans here.
Those players included George Springer, Addison Barger, and Dalton Varsho. He got the full VIP experience and watched the Jays beat the Braves 7-0.
Since we've been home, we've talked nonstop about the game and how incredible the experience was, and he's told me that the day of the game is the best day of his life, except for the day that his 2 little brothers were born.
We first met Wes last month when his family held a living celebration of life. His health is declining rapidly, even forcing them to end their Florida trip early.
Things did not go super well for him in terms of his health after the game, but he rallied through the day, put his all into it. The Jays put their all into it, and it turned out to be one of the most incredible experiences.
And as he spends his final few days with family, he's remembering this special experience.
It's definitely a dream come true.
Brent Layle, CTV News.
Coming up, fraudulence found in Canada's foreign student program. The findings from an Auditor General's report as the government cuts back enrollment. Plus, secularism in Quebec put to the constitutional test, the latest on a Supreme Court case over the notwithstanding clause.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. President Donald Trump extended his deadline to Iran to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, saying the U.S. will hold off on threatened strikes against Iranian power plants.
See how that goes, and if it goes well, we're going to end up with settling this. Otherwise, we'll just keep bombing our little hearts out.
Trump says there are major points of agreement with Iran and that talks began yesterday and they would continue. He claims the Iranians want to make a deal, but they've denied there have been any formal negotiations. A major U.S. airline is cutting back on flights because of rising jet fuel prices. As Josh Morano reports, it's likely only a matter of time before air travel costs catch up.
At the Ottawa International Airport, many are still traveling, even as costs in the airline industry rise.
We booked it a couple of weeks ago. We did most of it on points, but it was still pricey.
Tom Ertl is flying home to Fredericton and says booking closer to his trip came at a cost.
We don't do this leg often enough to really compare, but just generally flying is not for the faint of heart or for those with don't have deep pockets.
Others, however, say they're not seeing a big jump in ticket prices despite rising fuel costs, at least not yet.
Probably a concern, but we don't fly very often. We didn't really know what to expect, but it was fine, so we booked it.
Airlines, meantime, are adjusting. United Airlines announcing it's cutting 5% of scheduled flights through 2027 as higher fuel prices tied to ongoing tensions in the Middle East continue to drive up costs.
I booked that about 2 months back, this specific flight. But, with the situation currently in the Middle East specifically, it takes several iterations to finally decide on a timing.
With the price of jet fuel hovering around $175 US a barrel, there is some concern other airlines could soon follow suit. But for Erdl, that's not a concern, at least not right now.
It doesn't trouble me all that much. I've got lots of flexibility. I think the slashing of services and leg space and niggling little fees here and there for things, that's more of annoyance to me.
Josh Morano, CTV News, Ottawa.
An Auditor General report is outlining Canada's international student program and quality controls falling short. It found new post-secondary permits have been reduced, but critical weaknesses were found in the program's integrity controls. Abigail Beeman reports.
Canada's Auditor General says integrity falls short when it comes to the government's revamp of the international student program.
What's concerning for me is that the department isn't acting on the information that it has.
The report found schools flagged more than 153,000 potential red flag students to the government over 2 years, but the Immigration Department only investigated just over 4,000. And when 41% of flagged students didn't respond to the government, the investigation seemed to end there.
We will definitely do better, and we will be more consistent.
Overall, a cap on international students worked to drop the numbers. The audit found they dropped much more than expected. This graph shows the projected number of new study permits for 2024 and 2025, and the total actually approved up until September. Separately, the audit found 800 cases where applicants had either used fraudulent information or misrepresented themselves. Most went on to apply for other immigration permits in Canada, and more than half of those were approved.
We will be centralizing the investigation. We will be streamlining anyone that is flagged. We will be doing more reporting, and we will be information sharing with CBSA.
But the minister wouldn't say how many more investigations would be possible.
We've brought too many people into the country too fast for housing, healthcare, jobs to keep up. That has lowered public acceptance for immigration, and frankly, it's just a giant dumpster fire.
The immigration minister also said the report only captures the first 18 months of what is a multi-year reform. The Conservatives call that an illusion and say nothing has changed. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
A historic battle is getting underway at the Supreme Court. It concerns the notwithstanding clause, a provision allowing elected officials to override constitutional rights. Mike Couture has more on the constitutional conflict and what's at stake.
It's not just a piece of cloth. It's my conviction.
For Naveen Wali, this legal fight is personal. The Muslim woman can't pursue her dream of teaching in Quebec because Bill 21 prevents civil servants like teachers from wearing religious symbols. She's even been told she can't volunteer at her daughter's school.
Because of my hijab, because they consider this a religious symbol. And it really affected me. I was angry, I'm upset, I'm sad.
Hundreds demonstrated outside the Supreme Court as hearings began on the constitutionality of Quebec's secularism law.
Is not the purpose of this law clearly to put in place a separation of church and state?
That may have been the purpose, but opponents argue there's an impact on the Charter of Rights and Freedoms.
It matters because it was always intended to protect minorities from the tyranny of the majority.
There's also concern about the preemptive use of the notwithstanding clause. The section of the Charter allows provinces to temporarily override certain freedoms. Quebec used it for Bill 21, and other provinces have looked to use that legislative tool. The leader of the Bloc Québécois says the clause is the last line of defense for provincial lawmakers.
If we lose that, people will have to ask themselves if there is any other opportunity to protect what they are and to promote what they are, but independence.
For Wally, it's about the personal independence and freedom.
This is for everybody, and this is going to affect generations to come.
The Supreme Court has set aside 4 days of hearings for the 51 interveners in this case, and it's expected to take several months before its decision is rendered. Mike Lecouteur, CTV News, Ottawa.
Welcoming back Julie Anderson tonight. And Julie, you've got some sunshine, late day sunshine here in South London. It looks nice out there.
Yes.
It is chilly though.
It is. It's cold. We're talking wind chills tonight, once again into the minus teens. We have a wind chill out there right now. The wind's just starting to ease off, but they've been quite gusty out of the northwest. We made it to just 0 today. This time of year, we should be at +6. We'll get there in this forecast. We have a nice day-to-day warming trend on the way. And heading into tomorrow, we will see a forecast high of 5. At the London airport right now, it's -3 and the wind's out of the northwest, but we are under the influence of high pressure, and that's breaking up the cloud cover. Now, that cold northwest wind generating lake effect flurries today, and they were light, however persistent, and early in the day the cloud cover just hanging around. Now that dry air punching in out there tonight, that'll clear the sky, and as a result we will see some cold overnight lows. A weak low pressure system will be moving into northern Ontario tomorrow, and this will drag a cold front towards the Bruce, so you have some flurries in your forecast tomorrow, but the rest of the region should see some nice sunshine through the day. As we head across the country tonight, we do have some wind warnings in effect on the BC coast, and across the prairies temperatures are coming in above freezing. We do have some weather moving through northern Ontario and the east coast dealing with a winter storm, and winter storm warnings continue and through parts of the Maritimes. So today we were in between systems, this coastal low pressure area and high pressure trying to build in out of the American Midwest. That's what created that tighter pressure gradient over the Great Lakes, leading to the windy conditions. Flurries tomorrow, as I mentioned, this is that weak front, but that will stay well north of Huron, Perth. So Grey and Bruce County, you could pick up some flurries as we head through around 12 noon until about 2 o'clock. Nothing heavy. It'll just be some flurries making the move across the area, and then back into cloudy with sunny breaks. So tomorrow looks good in terms of active weather, not a busy day weather-wise. The next weather system coming in Wednesday night. We do have the chance for showers, and Thursday we have some rain on the way. Overnight, along the lakeshore, -4 to -6 near Huron, and pretty much the same weather pattern towards Lake Erie tonight, -5 to -7. I mentioned those wind chills. You'll notice that it's cold, and it will be cold first thing in the morning. Sunshine to start the day at -8. The forecast high of 5. Now tomorrow the winds will kick around to the southwest in the afternoon, 20 with a gust of 40. Wednesday overcast, 8 degrees, milder, but by Wednesday night we have some showers on the way. Thursday, extremely mild at 15 degrees, rain and gusty winds expected. This will be a cold front coming through, and temperature will drop down Friday at the freezing mark, but sunshine. Saturday, a mix of sun and cloud, and 7 on Sunday with a mix of sun and cloud, and we'll hit 10 degrees on Monday with lots of sunshine. So this forecast, we're really starting to move in the right direction in terms of more sunshine than cloud cover and showers, and more showers than snowfall. 3 degrees tomorrow. Grey and Bruce County, you'll have those flurries through the early part of the afternoon. Huron, Perth, you'll see a nice mix of sun and cloud with a forecast high of 4 to 5 degrees. Cloudy on Wednesday and 7 double digits on Thursday right across the region, but rain and gusty winds heading into Thursday night. The temperature drops Friday, mainly sunny, ranging from -2 to the freezing mark, and then we'll hit 3 degrees with flurries on Saturday. Looking good Sunday with a mix of sun and cloud, and mainly sunny on Monday. So the calendar reading spring, and it will feel spring-like in this forecast. This time of year we tend to have some major fluctuations, so this forecast delivering that for sure, but definitely some nice sunshine on the way and a couple milder days to get us through. Carlyle.
All right, Julie, thanks very much. Still ahead, the affordable options when it comes to content consumptions. More people cutting cable while streamers look for advertising opportunities.
What would you do with $50,000? That's the question with Pure Country's big 50K payday.
Your coverts come back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Make sure you're listening and enter them on our website for your chance to win.
A round of layoffs went into effect today at a major Ontario steel producer. Algoma Steel officials in Sault Ste. Marie announced the layoffs last year, affecting 1,000 jobs. That was shortly after American authorities announced a 50% tariff on Canadian steel imports. According to Algoma officials, today's layoffs are only a part of the 1,000 jobs they're cutting. At one point, the steel producer employed roughly 2,700 people, one of the largest employers in Northern Ontario. A new report on Canadian viewing habits shows more people cutting cable in favor of streaming. And with that, there seems to be a concerted effort from streamers to incorporate more ads on their platforms. With more, here's Pat Foran.
Streaming price hikes have become so common they've earned a nickname, streamflation. Rising fees can add up quickly, especially if you have multiple services.
I have about 5. It has gone up, and we try to keep a budget.
If you don't keep track, you may not know how much you're spending each month.
I have to look at my bill, so don't know yet.
According to the Couch Potato Report, there are 55 streaming services in Canada, and last year revenue increased 15% to $4.8 billion. This year, the revenue forecast is 11.5% growth, with expected revenue of $5.35 billion. Consumer Reports' Jim Wilcox was shocked when he checked his statements and found he was paying about $1,000 a year for TV services.
The cost has really creeped up on a lot of people, and it's probably one reason that a lot of people don't understand how much they're really paying.
The top 10 providers hiked prices last year by an average of 7%. It's why more Canadians are now streaming services with ads, as it costs 42% less. If you're willing to watch commercials, consider switching to a lower-priced ad-supported tier available on many streaming services. To save money, you can also check your subscriptions, your apps and credit card bills, and cancel services you aren't using. There are also free streaming options such as Pluto and Tubi. Crave, which is owned by Bell Media, the parent company of CTV, saw a 26% increase over last year, due in part to programs like Heated Rivalry. If there are shows you can't afford to miss, Wilcox says you can also consider a strategy called service hopping.
You sign up for a service, you binge everything you can for a month or so, and then cancel that service and then jump to another one.
You may want to put a reminder on your phone to cancel the service so you're not paying after your binge is over. For many households, streaming is the new normal, and those that pay for streaming services have an average of almost 3 subscriptions each. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Canada's main stock index was up today, as were American markets. The TSX gained 566 points. In New York, the Dow added 631, the Nasdaq up 299. The Canadian dollar was unchanged, just under 73 cents U.S. On commodity markets, gold lost more than $176 an ounce. Oil fell more than $10 a barrel. Later on CTV News, the pipeline project on Oneida Nation of the Thames and its significance on World Water Day. Welcome back. Labatt Breweries has announced a $10,000 donation to the Upper Thames River Conservation Authority, marking World Water Day.
This new partnership will focus on advancing water quality data collection programming, bringing together research funding and employee volunteering to support both a better understanding for and stewardship of our shared water resources right here in London, Ontario. Together, we can continue to protect and preserve the water that sustains our communities and our business for generations to come.
Labatt officials say they're committed to conservation efforts locally and across the region, something other local leaders support.
Certainly you can't have great beer without great water, and you can't have a great watershed, healthy watershed without water as well. And so there are those shared principles there that make it so important.
Meanwhile, reliable, clean drinking water is closer to a reality on the Oneida Nation of the Thames. With the latest on the pipeline project connecting the community to the Lake Huron water supply system, here's Brent Lale.
Clean water is not something anyone should have to fight for.
On World Water Day, Oneida Nation of the Thames Chief Todd Cornelius was filling in the community on the latest with the Lake Huron water pipeline.
A lot of our younger generation has not seen clean drinking water coming from the tap.
But that is about to change after the Lake Huron primary water supply system formally approved contracts for a $27 million project which will connect the First Nation to Mount Bridges.
You just turn the tap on now and you can drink the water. That's a good thing.
This project is still in the tender phase, but once that is complete, they hope to break ground in early May.
It's going to be a game changer for us, definitely. If the infrastructure is going to be a lot better now, we can develop housing more. So it's going to be a big positive for the community.
A lot of the municipalities in our circling around us have clean drinking water. A lot of them are surprised in our situation condition, but we are stepping it up and trying to keep up with neighbours in regards to clean drinking water. We do have a fire protection and coming to our community too.
Indigenous communities have a long history with water. It's considered sacred and viewed as a living entity. However, for years, residents in Oneida have either been under a conserve or boil water advisory. Skids of bottled water are delivered every week to the community center, but next year, that will change.
We're also looking at 7 generations ahead of us to making sure there is a flow of clean drinking water for them too.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
At London City Hall today, there was little political support for requiring weeping tile disconnections whenever older homes change ownership.
It's not an implementation plan with specific costs or dates, but rather the opportunity for staff to investigate the pros and cons.
About 50,000 homes built before 1985 have weeping tiles draining stormwater into the city's sewage system. The excess water can cause basement flooding and sewage overflows into the river. However, several committee members were uncomfortable mandating the disconnections, which can cost between $5,000 and $10,000.
You're talking about 50,000 people almost spending what they would spend entirely in property taxes a year just to create this one change.
We're already spending tens of millions of dollars in building infrastructure to try and address this issue, but it also not necessarily even addressing the basement flooding.
They don't want to penalize some of the properties where they're older properties. They do have a lot of those financial challenges.
Provincial politicians were back at Queen's Park today for the first time since December. Government officials are expected to table their budget on Thursday under intense scrutiny for a bill restricting freedom of information access. Siobhan Morris reports.
The Premier began his day away from the legislature with a view of Toronto's skyline, announcing his government will declare the city's island airport a special economic zone, a designation that allows environmental and other laws to be suspended.
It's an airport for the people of Canada and Ontario. That's the difference. That's why we're taking it over.
The idea is to allow jets to take off from Billy Bishop in a few years. There's been resistance at City Hall. The province is pushing them out of the deal that governs the airport.
We always focus on environmental issues and we're going to be working with the First Nations community. We take all that into consideration, but we can't just sit back.
In the legislative chamber for the first time in 102 days, the opposition calls the airport and a flurry of other recent announcements a distraction, pulling attention from an overhaul of freedom of information laws that will put the Premier's cell phone records out of reach.
So I would ask the Premier to explain why is his government taking away the people's right to see how decisions are made and who is benefiting.
Doug Ford's been clear his cell phone is the reason for this change, but maintains Ontario is just getting in line with Ottawa.
There's two groups that are concerned about it. It's the opposition that they should talk to their federal partners and the media. Everyone else is focused on something else.
Liberals say the government record on those other things is less than stellar.
Class sizes keep going up. Unemployment, up. Holiday health care, up. People without a family doctor, up. Electricity and heating costs, up.
Just before question period, the NDP tried to bring a motion to the floor to reverse recent changes to OSAP. That move was blocked. A major student protest is planned here tomorrow. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Tomorrow on CTV News, a whistleblower speaks out. We hear from a former St. Joseph's healthcare employee who raised concerns about dog testing at the hospital. That story tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
Looking for signs of spring across the area. Today, flurries and temperatures well below normal. We'll have wind chills from -11 to -14 tonight. Thanks so much, Michael, for sending this photo in. Temperatures are set to warm over the next couple of days, and we have some sunshine in the forecast for tomorrow.
Police in Essex County are now officially linking an arson to a homicide investigation after a Windsor woman was stabbed to death earlier this month. Investigators now say Nancy Greywall was targeted in a suspicious house fire from last November. Surveillance video shows a man pouring liquid on the front porch, then setting it on fire. Provincial police are asking for public help identifying more links between the fire and the stabbing attack. A community initiative in Chatham-Kent is growing, trying to support families struggling with the cost of living. It started as a plan to help out just a few households for Easter, but as Chris Campbell reports, organizers severely underestimated demand.
What started as a plan to help just 20 families this Easter with short-term food baskets quickly grew beyond expectations as demand surged far higher than anticipated.
We posted on our social media and we ended up with over 400 people, so we decided we can't do 20, we need to do 100.
Free Help CK says the surge in demand is being driven by the rising cost of living, especially food.
It's working people, yes. They're working and they just want to have a good Easter.
Free Help CK founder Jerry Hewson says after paying rent and bills, many families simply don't have enough left for groceries. For Robert Rader, the help came at a critical time.
I definitely needed the help, and to be blunt, I don't know if I'd be where I am today without her help.
He calls the organization a lifeline and says more people are struggling.
I don't mean to be a pessimist, but things haven't gotten better lately. Yeah, there's definitely a need.
The growing demand comes as Chatham-Kent Council prepares to review new reports on housing and homelessness. According to one report, an average of 34 people entered homelessness each month last year.
We're talking about the exponential rise in homelessness. It's becoming very, very acute here in Chatham-Kent, and it is deeply worrying.
Councillor Alison Story says the community is facing a crisis with rising homelessness, housing wait lists, and financial pressure all colliding, saying the current support system isn't enough.
Not by a long shot. We have provincial support and assistance that's been frozen for many years. The current amounts, even as they stand, are nowhere near the amounts that most people need just to survive.
Back at Free Help CK, the focus remains on making sure families can sit down to an Easter meal.
And if we can provide them the Easter meal and maybe a few other things, how great is that?
Hewson says registration opens Tuesday with at least 100 food boxes available, first come, first served. The hope is more community support could help the organization fill the need and feed more families.
Oh, if anybody can help, that would, every little bit helps, right?
In Chatham-Kent, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
The Toronto Blue Jays announced contract extensions for both their manager and general manager today. A media release indicates a 2-year extension for manager John Schneider running through the end of the 2028 season. Schneider is 4th on the club's all-time regular season wins list. A 5-year extension was announced for general manager Ross Atkins running through the end of the 2031 season. Atkins has been GM for 10 years now, making the playoffs 5 times, peaking as World Series runners-up last season.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Welcome back. Finally tonight, a ceremonial start today for the Great Lakes shipping season. With more on the traditional launch in Goderich, here's Scott Miller.
Goderic's mayor sets the ceremonial top hat on the head of Captain Joe Costello, who takes this year's distinction as captaining the first ship to enter Goderic's port, kicking off the 2026 shipping season.
It's always one of my favorite days of the year. This is my third one as mayor, and we're happy that the Seaway's open, right? Great Lakes is a big component of the town of Goderic and what we do here.
Now, calling this the first ship to enter Goderic's port this year is a bit of a misnomer. Ships have been going in and out of Goderic's port so far this year. But until the locks open in Welland, which they open today, and the locks in Sault Ste. Marie open later this week, really ships can't cover the entire Great Lakes. So I guess officially this is the opening of the entire Great Lakes shipping season.
This signifies the 94th top hat ceremony taking place at the Port of Goderic. It was a tradition that was started in 1932.
Ships have been able to continue traveling Lake Huron and Lake Michigan because of the yeoman's work of Canadian and American icebreakers. Lake Huron reached more than 80% ice coverage in early February and March, and although it's been slow going at times, shipping has become a nearly year-round activity in Goderic, which did lead to more ships docking in Huron County last year.
In 2025, seen 194 vessels, over 25 vessels up from 2024, and we're anticipating that kind of generic growth again in 2026.
With a $3 million project to create more storage at Goderic's Portlands to be completed this year, and big plans for a $65 million expansion that would see 11 acres of Lake Huron filled in to make even more Goderic Portlands, Herkmans sees traffic at Goderic's port growing exponentially in the decades to come.
We really believe that as Canada gets its supply chain strategy sorted out and trade diversification, that we will be a backstop to relieving congestion at some of the major ports throughout the Seaway corridor.
But today is about one ship, the Algoma Intrepid, that will undergo some repairs while in port before picking up a load of salt bound for Milwaukee in 2 weeks' time. Captain Costello won't get to keep the ceremonial top hat, but he'll have bragging rights as the ship that kicked off Goderic's 2026 shipping season. A big one, hope town officials. In Goderic, Scott Miller, CTV News.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.